state where secrets hide. In Tampa Street, she seeks out lies. With a sharp eye, she'll reveal the truth. Justice calls and she pursues. From county jails to hallowed courts, she finds truth where they distort. Fearless heart and mind so keen, Sam unravels tangled seams. The truth is buried deep in files. Fairness is what they try to hide, but Sam prevails. She's got your back. With grit and grace, she never lacks. Uncover lies and play no games. From jails to halls where verdicts lay. Truth her compass, come what may. Footsteps echo in the night. She chases justice with the light. A warrior for justice for all. She won't stop when she hits a wall. Florida P.I.Sam is her name. Uncover lies and play no games. From jails to halls where verdicts lay. Truth her compass, come what may. Uncover lies, play no games. From jails to halls where verdicts lay. Truth her compass, come what may. From jails to halls where verdicts lay. Truth her compass, come what may.
Good evening, everyone. I've been holding him for 3 minutes. Say hello to your people, Henry, before you bite me again. All right. Hi, guys. It's December 20th, 2025. Can you believe it? I say that every week or month or whenever I remember to come on here and say hello. Hello, how are you? I hope everyone's having a great holiday season, however you celebrate that, or if you're like me, you just kind of boycott it. I don't boycott it, I opt out. So, not gonna lie, I'm exhausted. It's been a long, I don't even know how many weeks or months at this point, but we've been trying cases and the hits just keep on coming. So, I was just back in front of Judge Fuson, who, if you watch the Sunny Bell trial, he was that judge, and Michelle Doherty was the prosecutor. So if you watch the Alicia Andrews trial, she was the prosecutor on that one. So I've seen all of your favorite people. Of course, Scotty Sinardi was with me every day, and he got to do his first cross in a death penalty case. So that's very exciting because it takes many people many, many years. So let me say hi. I don't know what's happening to some of your usernames, so you're gonna have to forgive me. I saw that I see it's to prevent fraud. Hey Mel, good to see you. Hi Laura. Hi Erin. Hi Chris. B Michigan, good evening. Welcome. Hello. Let's see. Hi, Great Gams. Oh, thank you for the memberships, Laura. Appreciate that. Who did I miss? Did I miss anybody? Hello. Well, if I missed you, I apologize. So tonight, I wanted to talk really briefly about the death penalty case that I was just on. And then I want to kind of hear from you guys. And some of you all left chats or oh my God, it's going to be that. Left comments on my post where I was asking you to tell me what you learned, if you learned anything from watching this channel for a little over a year now. Because my goal was really and truly not to become even mildly internet famous, but because of my frustration about lack of information, which I've ranted on about for years. So I'd like to know what your takeaways have been. And I have some of those pulled up on my phone, but I know some of you were responding to my comments from the courthouse, and I do apologize to the members that I never get anything filmed. It's like a zoo outside of there. There's you can get saved on your way into court or on your way out. And it's just there's a lot that happens right outside the courtroom. The people watching is fantastic. But also, like, if I'm in a trial and I can't be anywhere near a juror, so like I can't have anybody that's on the jury for my case seem like we're not supposed to get on the elevators with them. We're not supposed to make eye contact with them, nothing. So like I just kind of put my head down and then, it's the end of the day and I just want to come home. So anyway, and now I have black suits strewn across my room for Henry to get fur on and me to try to remove in time for the next case. So thank you guys so much for the memberships. I really appreciate it. Trial TV Live handing out some memberships along with Laura did. Thank you. I appreciate you guys a lot. So much. Alexis, can I get you to put the stars on the things for me, please, so that I can actually attempt to read them without getting lost on my own. You know how I am. Oh, okay, I see. We've got, okay. Okay, but Squeegee, you don't get your question about how many times a day Henry inserts himself onto my keyboard. So this goes to my Mac Mini. It's not very big. I don't know if you saw Henry. He's pretty big. So like he just lays down on top of it. And what I'm talking to you guys on is a MacBook. So he can do a lot of it. And then I don't use a mouse. I use a trackpad. But if I use a mouse, he does chew on that. He thinks it's a mouse. But okay, so I want to just tell you a little bit about the case that we just came off of, which did not last nearly as long as the state thought it would. Thank goodness for that. I fell asleep in court again, you guys, during jury selection. Only I was the one that caught myself doing. I kept not. I could not stay awake. I can't sleep at night, but all of a sudden you put me under fluorescent lights in a courtroom and I can't keep my eyes open. So I just excused myself for the rest of the day because it was during jury selection. And what they do is they turn all the, normally lawyers and the defendant have their back to the gallery, right? But when they bring the jury panel in, they fill the gallery and turn all the tables around. So we're facing them and they're looking at us. And I'm like, I cannot be sitting here in front of 100 and however many people falling asleep. So got a jury in 3 days. Jury selection is not, it's not fun. I don't enjoy it very much. It's this mad dash in the mornings to fill in these charts and read these questionnaires and then you know, on a death penalty case, you've got first phase counsel and then you have second phase counsel. So that's two lawyers plus the defendant, plus then Scotty was there. And then there's me, and like everybody is trying to take notes, and the judge is taking notes, and the prosecutor's asking 5,000 questions, and the judge is like, I'm starting to feel like this is excessive. And the prosecutor's not even close to being done asking the questions. And then they send some people home to come back tomorrow. And apparently, if you are tardy to the party, you can get yourself booted off of a jury, which was unfortunate for us because a lot of my defendants, a lot of my clients are African American, and we don't see a whole lot of African American people on juries. So we lost the one that was late, whether they did that intentionally or not, because I don't know what that man was doing in out of county trying to come into the county to go to jury duty. They made the news for doing that. We lost him, and then I think one of our alternates was African American. We lost her too. But in the end, they voted for life in prison. And I am in a case like this where a conviction is all but guaranteed, that is considered a win. And I've said before, and I continue to, I think about it all the time, how I feel about the death penalty. And I was really surprised in jury selection to hear people say, I've never really thought about it before. I'm like, okay, so, you know, I do live in this little world of true crime, in that true crime is my job, but it's also become my hobby. And then my friends are people I've met in the true crime community. So yeah, maybe I'm a little insular, but for me, it comes down to one, I've never been, you know, a victim of a crime where that would happen, but I see where the appeals process goes on and on and on and on. And I can't imagine, and again, I don't know, this is just my perception. I can't imagine that having that drag on for so many years and having to reopen, you know, as the appeals process goes through. I can't imagine that that would be good for anyone's mental health. I personally would rather just know that person is locked up for life and you know, keep moving forward. The other piece though that I really don't like, and I asked some of you guys about it, and some of you responded, and there's no right or wrong answer. My personal answer is this. In Florida, you no longer need 12 unanimous jurors to recommend the death penalty. You only need 8. And I think that if you are going to make a decision like that, and I understand, you know, I can hear all the arguments going around in my head in a circle. But I think that that is like, that's the biggest decision maybe that some people will ever make about another person's life or death. And that should, there should be some weight there. But that's just my personal opinion. And the other person who I know who is on death row did not want a trial, so he didn't get a trial. He had to have a second phase. They did that. We'll talk about him at some point. I brought him up before. Turns out he's fighting back now in that he doesn't want an appeal. He's like, stop with the appeal. Just like, I want to be done. He's trying to get the court appointed appellate lawyer fired because he doesn't want an appeal. Like, he wanted to go to death row, and he's like, stop. This man is interfering with my rights. And I saw a video of him the other day from that, and I'm a little behind because I think it happened a couple months ago. But anyway, so let's see how you guys are doing. I want to say that I don't know whether my client was present at the scene of this crime, and my client had a gun. There's no two ways about that. Whether he was the one that unalived these people, I don't know. Part of it was caught on video, not the unaliving part. But he waited 7 years to go to trial, and that's a long time. There were a couple of things that caused that delay, but that's a long time. It's hard for me sometimes. So this crime occurred in 2018. I was not yet an investigator, but I worked at the lawyer's office who got the court appointed case. So I have had this case as a part of my job, I guess, for almost 7 years. I left the law office in 2020 and was an investigator, but I wasn't allowed to go back and work on any of the cases I had for a year. And that was per the attorney. He didn't want me anywhere near anything for a year. So he called the Florida bar, and I don't know, he came up with a year. So there was 1 year where I didn't have it like active. It's hard to reconcile the person that I know, that I've seen change over the 7 years, with the person that's on that video that committed that crime. And that happens a lot to me, actually, because sometimes by the time they get to trial, it has been such a long time, and maybe they're clean now and they weren't before. And, some of them, they're just like, they're growing up and they're like, I can't believe I did that. That was stupid. And I want to move on. I don't know, but I didn't want to see this particular one. I'm hoping that he can find, maybe in prison, some programs that can give some meaning to his life. I know that there are different programs for different prisons all across this state, and that's really what I hope for him, because I don't know that his life has had a whole lot of meaning up until this point. Okay, so I'm done. All right. Oh, let me see how you guys are doing. What are you telling me over here? Okay, so some of your names are not your names. Hey, Cindy Stovall, it's nice to see you. Some of your names are not your handles, so I'm not recognizing. Ms. Frosty, welcome. Let me see. Henry is not an angel, Aaron. Mama Red, welcome. Let me see. Okay, how many trials were I involved in? Was I involved in this year? So 2 went to trial. That doesn't mean, I don't even know how many were set, and we prepped for trial, and then they plead out. And then my trial from last August, that kid has got a verdict in August of 2024, has not been sentenced. I'm going to have Scotty Sonardi on here to discuss that, because I can't wrap my head around it. And last year I only had the one. So this year it was two of my sort of biggest cases, if you will. They were both capital cases. So one was the Sunnyvale. There was one I didn't go to because I just didn't want to be in the presence of that person. Yeah, if you guys can mark out your questions, that would be super helpful. I'm trying. Oh my God, Squeegee, I should have just had you on here. He goes, he's like, I have a question. Okay, let me see. All right. Did I have the same judge for every trial this year? Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And he was supposed to do the sentencing for last year's trial and he pushed it off. And we're back in front of him. I think right now, the one that is set as another death case that got pushed out till December of 26, and that's in front of him. That's Judge Fuson, the one with the long hair. Um, he he's on that. So like I have cases that are literally set for trial weeks from now and every single month, like going forward. And the Folio trial, that'll be the next like big one because it's like they play this game of chess or checkers or something, but they're always constantly moving cases around. So, for example, like Friday, one of my lawyers calls me up and he's like, "Hey, so I can get you the $1,000 on a federal case. I have 500 pages of discovery and I need it summarized. And can you and your assistant get that done by Monday?" And I'm going, "Yeah, okay. End of day Monday, Monday morning." I'm thinking to myself, I want to die right now. This is no. Then he calls me back. He's like, "Okay, doesn't have to be that close in time, but could you get it done by the end of the month?" I'm like, "Yeah, okay, I can do that." So sometimes the lawyers, and if I don't check the docket, they don't tell me when the court dates are coming. Not every lawyer wants me to go to trial with them. I think that's fine. Um, it's exhausting to prepare for trial. It's exhausting to be in trial. So, um, and then for example, I mean, with this last case, which was the state of Florida versus Mackenzie Lyons, and you can look it up if you want. There are a couple little short clips about it online. Um, God, I want to say that 3 to 4 weeks, I put almost everything else completely to the side and did nothing but this case, even though I've had it for so long. Because you forget, right? And I hadn't seen the defendant in a year, and he had written to me on the jail system before I let all my accounts go, and he's like, "Why don't you come out to see me anymore?" And I'm like, I literally cannot because what you know there's nothing for me to do right now. And so when it gets closer to time, I'll go see. But then I got so busy, I didn't go see him, but I was there every day of the trial. So, and I do plan to try to slide over to the jail and see him before he gets shipped off. Oh, he's not even being sentenced yet. I need to get a sentencing. I will go see him before the sentencing date. Okay. Um, hey, Kelly, you've changed your name again. Glad to see you. I hope you're doing well. Hi, Laura. What did you say that was funny? I have no idea. Okay. Hey, Larry Powers. It's nice to see you, sir. Um, so Mel, okay, so Mel, you agree with me. You think it should be 12 on a to record. So it's ultimately it's up to the judge. It's a recommendation from the jury. It's also interesting, and I don't know why I hadn't thought about this before, but like it's usually very important that the jurors not know what a potential sentence is for the defendant, but this is the one time that because they have to qualify you to be able to sit on a jury like that. So you have to be willing to make that decision, you know, because if you're like I'm completely dead set against it, then you can't be on that jury. Okay. Let's see. What case stands out the most for me wait, how does Florida have room for all the life without parole? I don't know. I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know. Okay, now I'm caught up over here. All right, now I can do this. All right, and no, was not what I wanted to do. Okay, all right, sorry. What case stands out the most for me this year and why? Um, like ones I'm working on or ones that have come to completion. I mean, I definitely find the Folio, the upcoming trial of the drill rapper, the unaliving of the drill rapper named Julio Folio, that is fascinating because of the history of that case. And I will be um, assisting Trial TV Live as they put together the history for you guys, and you can watch all the stuff over there. I'm just going to help them with the publicly available information and saying I can fact check and say yes, that's true, no, that's false, that sort of thing. I'm not giving away any privileged secrets. I haven't even met the guy who we're representing yet. I did read the 1500 page police report while I was sitting in court the other day. Let's see. Okay, so Larry Powers is saying, having served on a jury for an M trial with 12 jurors in a case where the defendant was obviously guilty, it was so difficult to get to a verdict and sentence because of two holdouts on the jury. Okay. Like I said, everybody's entitled to your opinion. It's not right or wrong. I have mine. Mine is there should be 12. Who is the judge that I most like? Sabella. He's chief judge now. I haven't had a case in front of him in a long time, but I don't go to all the hearings. So the attorneys see the judges a whole lot more than I do. I really liked Samantha Ward, who left the bench for private practice. And my experiences with Judge Sabella have been positive. Okay, so well, Mel says, well, that's interesting that it's up to the judge for 12 jurors or less. I did not know that. No, so okay, you have your jury of 12 people, only 8 have to vote, but it's do the 8 recommend the death penalty, right? It's not that the judge, I would expect there has to be some sort of extraordinary weight against the words are not going to come out right. There's the weight of the evidence, something for the judge to not follow the jury recommendation. So, why did I lose my stars? Okay. Sorry, guys, I'm just reading. Is there a time limit between verdict and sentence? No. There probably should be. Can I talk a bit about evidence.com and how it fits or not into my workflow? Do you use it? And if not, how do you transfer discovery to and fro? We have no access to evidence.com. So evidence.com is like the cloud for law enforcement, right? So all their Axon body cameras, all their photos, all that stuff, it's just like you're uploading into your iCloud or into your Google Drive. That's where they send all their stuff. Then the state's attorneys are given like a code or something for their case, and they download zip files, right? So it'll say string of number, evidence.com, a string of numbers .zip. And depending on the case, you'll get however many zip files. Those often contain like those huge Celebrate reports that we've talked about before. So what happens is the state then needs to pass those links to those zip files on to the defense attorneys, and then I get them that way. So there's no way for me to like log in to evidence.com. If I'm working off an email that the state has sent and I click the link, yeah, it's taking me to evidence.com, but I have no access to anything other than that zip file. And then when I get them, usually now, is the attorney's already downloaded the original zip files and they're just now passing them on to me and I unzip them. So it's not like it's not something that anybody other than law enforcement has access, like unfettered access to, and honestly, even on the prosecutor's side, I'm not sure if they are if they have, like special login credentials so they can see all their cases, or if it's specific to a case, that I don't know. But it's not something that wrong keyboard. That's not something that I can do. So I spend a lot of time unzipping files and trying to get everything to work. And the problem with the phone files is they come in as a package. And if whomever is doing the zipping on one end doesn't get it right, then the whole thing's just a disaster. And sometimes like it won't download for me, or it will download for me, but it won't download for Scotty. So it's just another headache. But it's better than 25 CD-ROMs. Based on my 2025 cases, would I change anything next year? I'm working on improving sort of workflow, if you will. I don't think I had one before. I found as much as I love tech, I'm not utilizing AI. I kind of forget that it's there. But I did, I bought an iPad Pro because I live in this generation, maybe some of you are like me, that's like half tech, half need to like physically write something on paper, but I can't be printing out thousands of pages of police reports and depositions and all transcripts, all the things. So I was like, I need this to be electronic, but I also need to be able to write on it. But then I also don't want to have to like do a ton of work to get it to my computer. So I found an app that I like. I tried a lot of different apps. I found one that I like. It's called Liquid Text. And I can literally write on it. So I put PDFs in it and I can highlight, I can write, I can pull excerpts out, and I can watch it happen on my computer screen as I'm using my iPad to do it. Or I can do it completely on my computer. I can have it on 3 different devices. So I've got a Mac Mini, a MacBook Pro, and the iPad. And then it syncs everything in the cloud, and it's built for legal work. So what I like about it then is if I have to do deposition summaries, I have to give attorneys pages and line numbers. Because if I just say, well, so-and-so said this, they have to be able to go back and find where that is that person said that thing. You can't just sort of like summarize it, paraphrase it. You can't paraphrase it. I'm sorry, I am really tired and my words are clearly struggling to come out. But now what I can do is I can take I can select blocks that include the line numbers. So when I pull them over to what's called the workspace, it will actually cite the page and the document name for me, but it also carries the line numbers. If you've never seen the transcript from a trial or from a deposition, it's 25 lines per page. And it's been a long time since I put anything together for you guys to look at in terms of like stuff that comes through my hands. So if you ever want to see that, I can find something innocuous, redacted, and show it to you. So I want to continue to try to maintain organization. I need to work on the fact that I work very, very, very intensely in spurts, and then I crash out really hard, and I need to I need to do a whole lot better with moderating that. I mean, I am my own boss, but I am subject to the deadlines that attorneys give me, or if they don't give me, then I don't know. So I feel like that's a huge struggle for me. I live to procrastinate, and that's so that's something I'm working on, and I need to remember to go out into the world more. I don't know. That's a good question. I'll keep thinking about it. Okay. So let's see. How did the trials this year compare to last year? So last year was only the one um, that I talked about a lot. That one, oh, how did it compare? Squeegee, you're killing me. You're making me have to think. Every single one is different. Every single one has similarities. Um, I don't, I don't know what to say about that. Let me see. Based on my 2025 cases, would I change anything? Okay, I think I answered that. Are there any more? Let's see. If the state uses a digital source to provide data, are you forced to use that, or can you request another source to receive the data? Oh, what an interesting question. Okay, so we've talked about the fact on this channel that I am in Tampa, Florida, which is Hillsborough County, and that's the 13th Judicial Circuit, right? And then, if you know anything about Florida, there's St. Petersburg is Pinellas County, and then there's Pasco County, and together Pasco and Pinellas make up the Sixth Circuit. And they are living in the dark ages, and they were living in the dark ages 10 years ago when I first started working in criminal defense in this part of Florida, and they are still living there now. So, but also by the same token, they wanted to give us a CD in trial the other day. So let me try to explain. So I showed you, this is a hard drive, right? So it's 4 terabytes. I think this was 4. I've got 4 terabytes on here. I've got a little one that's like, I don't know, half of a terabyte that'll plug into my iPad, my phone, or my computer. I've got an 18 terabyte drive here. When I first started, you had to mail or hand deliver CDs to the state's attorney's office, and they would burn discovery onto the CDs. Well, many, if not most, computers now don't come with CD player burner situations. I mean, I have an external one. I have a Windows laptop that I bought because Cellbrite can only be opened in a Windows environment. So if I'm not paying to be able to put a Windows environment on my Mac, I have a Windows laptop that has a CD drive. So in trial, they wanted to give us like all their exhibits on a CD. And we're sitting there, Scotty's got a MacBook Air, I have a MacBook. I don't even know if the other 2 attorneys brought, we're like, we don't want a CD. So in the middle of trial, I'm wiping, a thumb drive in order for this. I'm like, can I just give you a thumb drive? Because this is how we are working. So when I first came, I was mailing out CDs. You have to wait for it to come back. They still want to do that to some extent. But now, because of the digital data and because of how big those are, how big the digital data files are, we have to give them these hard drives. So trying to keep track of hard drives and who they belong to, like there's one in the drawer over here that I keep forgetting that I have. It goes to another lawyer on a federal case and I need to put a note on it. And then we've broken drives, we've lost drives. Drives die, especially if they're not solid state. A lot of these have like a little platter inside that spins. That's problematic. That's why I now like these little smaller ones. But the Sixth Circuit, which is Pasco and Pinellas County, I think they got email like yesterday. They operate in the dark ages. So where normally I would get all discovery, no questions asked, because it would just be passed on, you actually have to go to this, like the attorney has to go to the state's attorney's office and either watch it there, copy it there, whatever. It's not just going to come to us. It's insane. It makes zero sense whatsoever. So I hope that answered that question. Let me see. Who's that? Okay. Have I seen any advancements to digital forensics? And if so, what are they? Not yet, but they're coming. The only thing that I have seen is, so actually the answer to that is yes. I think I've explained before that Celebrite updates constantly, as does GrayKey, which is another way to extract data off of a phone. They have versions just like the operating system on your phone is updating all the time, whether you realize it or not. Like you may have chosen to be in control of when your phone updates. Your phone may be set to update its operating system, whether you're aware of it or not. So sometimes what happens is they get a phone in and they plug it into the Celebrite physical analyzer and it can't brute force the phone. It can't open it. And so they have to wait for either for a passcode or an update to the Celebrite or the GrayKey software in order to unlock the phone. Then sometimes, because the technology on what can be read off the phones has advanced from the time that they originally took it from the phone, they can go back and do that. I'm trying to think of whether lawyers in general, for the most part, are behind in terms of utilizing technology. And I blame it on law school, which may have changed. I mean, I graduated law school in 2014. And for me, it was weird to have a computer in the classroom because I graduated from college in 1996. And, kids were Googling things. And when I say kids, I mean kids because I was 16 years older than almost everybody I graduated with. And my mother so kindly told me that I was the oldest person in my graduating class, which, yeah, I don't know what it's like now, but, we had big, huge case books, and now I think that LexisNexis and the inmates have LexisNexis in the jail, which is a huge database, and we have to pay for it. I don't have it. I don't have a need for it. I figured out a way around it if I needed to do case research. And the kind of database I pay for is for getting information that other, like if you do a people search, people finder kind of thing, or been verified, you can pay some money to get some information on people. I have one that goes a couple steps beyond that. License plate reader technology. It's really interesting. I didn't know it was on tow trucks. I learned that. I learned, let's see, I learned that if let's say a crime were committed on my property, this complex that I live in, what the police can do is if they see that people around here have Ring cameras, they go to the Ring law enforcement portal and they put in a time frame and an address and they request all the footage. That was new to me. I can't even think right now. It's the 3D kinetic imaging from when I did that video, which was about an Associated Drill Rappers trial. And I said, don't worry, you don't have to know anything about drill rap. But I watched that trial because it's intertwined with this case here. And I'd never seen that before, that technology. So I brought you guys a video on that. Gosh, I can't think of anything else right now. I'm sure it will come to me. I mean, I checked a book out from the library to read on my iPad because I don't actually buy physical books. And normally now I just listen to books, but it's hard to get some nonfiction books like ones about technology. They don't really put those into audio format. So I've checked one out about technology and all of the various surveillance ways in which we're being surveilled. We don't even know about, because if you think you're not on camera somewhere, you're wrong, because it could just be you're in the background of somebody's selfie, or you walk past a Ring doorbell camera that's motion activated. We are being captured, whether, unless you just never leave your house, you're being captured somewhere. And like I told you guys, your phones are going to tell on you. How do I get around wiping utilities when recovering forensic data? I don't recover the data. That is above my pay grade, and on the other side of the cases, that would be on law enforcement side. So I don't have to do, and they can try. I mean, Larry, you asked the question. You're the one who I just forgot my train of thought. But yes, I know you served as a juror, and yeah, we can talk about doing that sometime. Let's see. Let me go back over to chat. Some of you actually replied to the post I put up earlier in the week, and I have your comments on my phone, and I'm thrilled. So hang on, let me catch up with you on my other screen. Okay. Okay, so oh yeah, Squeegee, you are obsessed with the Trevor Summers trial. Judge Sabella, he's just a great guy. He teaches too. I think he was one of Scotty's professors, and his daughter's a lawyer, if I understand correctly. Okay. So Alexis is saying that the organization that law enforcement sees within evidence.com does not transfer with the zip file, which is absolutely correct. So, Squeegee, I don't think Sabella's trying cases as much anymore because he is chief judge. I've seen people on the internet call him the Jolly Judge, but I've also seen his head about to explode because he got so mad. Um, okay. Larry, we can discuss talking about your experience. Let's see if this forced to use that keyword question on the form. Okay. Yeah, the Mel. So you said you saw them ask during Karen Reed trial about lawyers' page and line numbers. Yes. I don't even know where my bag is with anything printed out on it. Um, does the state use the same systems? Squeegee, I need you to. State uses addition. Okay, so learning new systems, it all comes the so sorry guys. Chris's question is, so you need to learn new systems every time, or does the state use the same systems? It's law enforcement that is slightly different. So for the most part, I think that like Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office does really good investigations. Their reports are very good. I can sometimes tell without even looking if it's Tampa PD because their investigations are a little less documented. Um, there are rules. They're not just rules of criminal procedure and civil procedure, but there are rules for lawyers. I guess that there's also like norms, I would say. So, but like Pasco, for example, they'll give you a piece of paper and you as the lawyer have to sign off saying, yeah, you received the discovery. In Hillsborough, you just have to get somebody on the phone and be like, who do I give the drive to? And sometimes you're getting it not even from the public defender's office, but from regional counsel's office because you're the third attorney in line. Yes, we see one thing we see is difference in players. So the Axon body cam usually comes in something like G4X. It doesn't, it's as its file extension. So, and not like in an MP4. So where Alexis calls it the traffic cone program, which is VLC, you can read almost any digital file through VLC, but not if they send it to you directly in Axon's format. Then you have to break out the Windows computer and watch it that way. Some law enforcement doesn't have body cam. I don't know. Let's see. So if a drive dies, that potential evidence out the window. No, the state would still have it. Okay. Yeah, please remember to hit the like button if you have enjoyed the content. What are we voting about Walmart on? Have I ever had a case without it? I don't know. We need a drawing of Henry and a few other cats doing a parody of privatized music video from Hall & Oates. They're watching you. I tell that to Alexis all the time because Alexis is basically my full-time assistant. She started out as a moderator for the channel and now works for my business and has saved me in terms of organization, time management, behaving like an adult. So she has a remote login to this one computer, and sometimes she'll just be going along doing something and I'll send her a message and be like, no, not like that. Don't do that. And Henry likes to sit and watch her work too. Okay, so let me look and see Some of you guys had some things to say. All right. Crazy Mary Jo said, I am learning that your JOB even exists. I agree. I didn't know either. Marvel at how steady a temperament you must have to be the neutral researcher of factual details. To not leap to conclusions of judgments. You have taught me to be a bit flexible in regarding defendants I superciliously deem guilty. So Mary Jo, if you are out there, congratulations on being able to spell superciliously and well used, ma'am. And thank you. Do I have a good temperament? Depends on the day. I haven't yelled at anybody in a while. I lost my temper badly a year ago. I also had a seizure, like a brain issue, a year ago. So I'm just gonna put it on. I'm fine. Great Gam says I've learned many things. Enjoy all the interesting, kind people who follow me and Henry. Thank you. I think I have wonderful people. Barry Adams said every client is having the worst time of their life. Where's your inner strength coming from, and what do you do to keep doing your best for clients because it affects how the justice system works for all of us? So that's a great question. One, I have completely distanced myself from the defendants. I was in a position for a long time where I was doing a lot of work for one attorney who did not interact with them very often. And so I was the one that was always at the jail. I was the one that was getting the calls and the messages. And I have, with this last case, the Sunny Bell case, and then Mackenzie's case, my sort of familiarity with them, my interactions with them have stopped. Like people can't get to me to communicate the way they used to be able to. With Mackenzie's case, so, and I'm always learning things about myself. And a couple ways to answer your question, Barry. One is having this outlet has been tremendously helpful. Two is that I have Alexis to talk about all the stuff with all the time. And then I have Scotty Sonardi also, who we work on a lot of the same cases. We know a lot of the same people. You know, that helps tremendously because for a while when I was working for Prison Break, I was very, 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 very isolated. I mean, I do work here at home. It's just me and the cat, but I didn't have any interaction with anybody. And a lot of my cases were out of county, and his business is out of county. And that was much harder because also, like, my friends and my family do not care. They are not true crime people. They do not care. And, you know, who wants to try to keep track of Judge so-and-so and this attorney and that attorney? You guys do because you're watching the cases. You know what I mean? I can say Judge Sabella, and there's a handful of you that say, oh yeah, okay, I know who that is. Right? But my mother, my father, my stepmother, they don't know. And they don't care either, to be honest. So having these various outlets has helped me tremendously. Because after the Sunny Bell trial, I told you guys I had Chris on here to do my stream with me afterwards because I knew I was so emotionally drained from that case. It was a lot. I didn't know I'd be sitting next to a TV camera. I didn't anticipate the intensity of the family's reliance on me to provide them with information. I didn't expect, I have sat next to defendants in a number of cases, but I didn't, it was a lot more than what I had expected, right? And especially with the cameras, that was a lot. And for a person that doesn't go out into the world a whole lot, that was a lot to know that. I mean, I couldn't sit there and stare and see when that camera was turned towards me at all times. I was doing things. That was, I mean, I've shown up in footage of hearings before. I've been interviewed, very short clips that some have made it on the air, some have not, but that was a lot. It was the family though. And I couldn't do anything for a couple. I put us so far behind on preparing for Mackenzie Lyons because Andrew Thompson, the defendant from Sunnyvale, it just bottomed me out. Now I've known Mackenzie even longer, but I don't have any contact with his family. But one of his family members was there and kept leaving the courtroom upset. And a bailiff came to me and was like, "Do you know who that is?" I'm like, "No." So I went and talked to Mackenzie. He's like, "It's my sister." They're saying, they thought the second shooter was her son, essentially, and she was not prepared for the video. And I think second phase should have done that, and whatever. I took a day or two. Yes, I'm really tired right now. But it didn't wipe me out the way that it did for Thompson. I expect the level of work to continue to be, I want to say, intensive because of how much I can't even begin to explain to you guys the amount of digital information that is coming through that we have to sort through. And that's just a lot. And I forgot what the rest he asked me about. Okay, so where's my inner strength coming from? And what do I do to keep doing my best for my clients because it affects how the justice works for all of us? So when I do interact with them, which I do, I'm not saying I never go to jail anymore, because I do. I just go a lot less than I used to. I'm always straightforward. Like the way that you see me on here now, I try to smile more for you guys. But this is who I am. Like this is who I am. And they get the same thing. Sometimes they see me and I have my makeup on and I've got my hair done. And sometimes I'm in a, 10-year-old Vans t-shirt and my hair's sitting on top of my head. This is just who I am, and I just sit and I have conversations with them, and where you have to be able to like read their faces to some extent because they don't want to let you know when they don't understand something. And it's sometimes you have to just keep going back because they're lying, and you have to accept the fact you're being lied to all the time. Even when you really want to believe them, you're probably being lied to. And for me, it's a matter of like getting to the lie, right? Because I can't have it be my responsibility. And it's not, I mean, the attorney is fully responsible at the end of the day, but I don't want to present information to an attorney that's factually incorrect. So there's that. And I don't know. I mean, the system is ugly. And I hope that for anyone that watches this channel, I mean, I know that the joke always was, from OnlyFan, who we haven't seen in a very long time, was, how to crime with PI Sam, because I was like, don't do this, don't do that. The system is not, it's an adversarial system, and the odds are stacked against you, even if you're innocent, which is why the first thing you should have, if you take nothing away from me, nothing away from this channel, it's that you should always, always, always talk to the police with a lawyer. Or don't talk to the police, but you should have a lawyer, no matter what. Because if you are a true crime person, then you have watched enough to know, or listened to enough, or read enough to know that the police, you can talk yourself into charges. So, and otherwise, I mean, I just, like, when I've said, as I've spoken about before, I don't consume as much true crime content as I used to, like podcasts and books and things of that nature. I'm not watching cases on YouTube as much. Well, like I haven't been in Trial TV's chat. I talk to them, but I haven't been in their chat because I'm not watching their cases because I can't keep up with what they're streaming unless it's my case. So you have to find other escape outlets, I guess, and so for me, I just go and I watch bad TV. And I have got to get outside and exercise more because, and since I had that seizure a year ago, which was a medication induced thing, I've just put on an absolute ton of weight that I'm now 52 and have no business carrying around, as I got lectured very recently. Let's see. So some of you guys, like I said, I don't know what your handles are. This person, C Nighttime 5662, said, I first heard you on caricatures. Your knowledge of what really happens is nothing close to what the public sees. I was a juror on an M trial. After the trial, I watched everything I could find on the case. Mainstream media never let the truth get in the way of a great news clip. The public should never blame the jury. We make our decision on what is presented at trial. If you could give an example of this phenomenon and how hard it is to be an honest and attentive juror, that's my suggestion. Thanks. Well, I guess I've not been on a jury. But Larry Powers has shared a lot about that. We did have an issue with this juror. We thought we were going to have a problem with him because he was mad as hell he got picked. So we pulled him out the next day and brought him in, and we're like, that you could be a problem, basically. Wouldn't say that. Like, the attorney said, you were very upset yesterday when you found out you were chosen for this jury. Are you going to be fair and impartial? Like, is the fact that you're missing work going to be a problem? And he was fine. He ended up being fine. And I was really concerned, because I thought, well, if he's mad about being on this jury, he could totally take that out on the client, right? So could hating the lawyers. Yeah, I mean, so for this person, if you heard me originally on caricatures, that's where I came from because I wanted to explain I can't give you privileged information, but I could at least explain the process, right? And I wanted to clear that up. And what is presented at trial is subject to the rules. There are the rules of evidence, the rules of criminal procedure, and everybody talks about case law. And at some point, if you are interested in, if you want me to, I'll explain how that whole situation works. And what makes case law and how people misinterpret it and what it's used for. I get a ton of information in that I process, that I prepare, that I push out, that doesn't ever get used because you just don't know. It's just like taking the bar exam. You prepare for everything because you don't know what the hell they're going to ask you, we work hard, I think, to try. We have a lot less control as the defense than the state does, and it also depends hugely on the judge. So, but yeah, the jury goes out a lot. They never see the extent of it. They don't know all the arguments. You, as trial watchers on YouTube, like if you're watching a trial and they send the jury out and they are arguing a motion and you're getting to see that, that's a glimpse behind the curtain, but we're not seeing the sidebars, right? Even if I'm in the courtroom, I'm not hearing the sidebars. That we have one headset, it goes to the defendant. You know what I mean? But there'll be tons of information that comes in that just isn't relevant to the charges. It isn't relevant to the case. There's a fantastic balancing test of is it too prejudicial, probative or prejudicial. We can do law school 101, but they're great lawyers on YouTube. You don't necessarily need me to explain this stuff to you guys. Let me see. Have I thought about switching career? Larry, sir, I did. I closed a business that I had run for 10 years. I had another profession before this one. I went to law school. I was going to be a lawyer. I didn't know my job existed. And I learned my job existed. And so this was my career change. I'm 52. I'm not looking for, unless somebody wants to pay me a whole lot of money. What is the average age of Squeegee's trolling me? What is the average age of my client? 16 right now. Do I have any advice for them? Yes, stop playing with guns and go to school. If so, does Henry play? Henry is my cat. Squeegee is trolling me. No, seriously, the average age of my clients this year, I would say, has been about 16. And they're shooting each other and they need to stop it. And it's really bad. Like, it's really, really bad. I don't understand it. I don't know. There's so much of it I don't understand. But okay, so here's the thing. If you own firearms, I have absolutely no issue with that. Just please do not leave them in your car where somebody breaks into your car and they take your gun, because the person that is doing that is freaking 14, 15, or 16 years old, and they're going out and they're using that gun to murder somebody. So, just a suggestion. Don't do that. Great games. Do you ever get a chance to do PI investigation for private citizens? If so, how much would you charge? Well, yes, I do. I haven't had one in a minute, but I start at like $100 an hour. It depends on what you want. But yes, I mean, I have a license, like a state license, right? That I had to take a test for. And I explained previously how to go about getting that. And then I own an agency for which I just got the renewal. It's going to be $450. And you add that onto my health insurance, and I'm never, ever going to be able to stop working for 1 second. Which establishment appears in Charles Moore? Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Henry's Boutique, Publix, Piggly Wiggly, Walmart. It's the aisle in Walmart. Okay. Hi, Jenny G. Thanks for saying hi. I appreciate you. Let's see. In my experience, what category of evidence do I think jurors connect with the most? Digital phones, CCTV, emails, DNA, and Henry watching you. Okay, Henry sleeps in the closet. I've given you that picture on a post. I don't know. I would imagine that they are learning a lot, just like you guys are learning a lot when you're watching trials. I don't think people understand the scope of what can come off of a phone. Video evidence is everything. I mean, there is no reasonable doubt if you're caught on video. I want to read this one from Kelly. There's just no reasonable doubt. If it's on video, or you did it and then you went on and you posted the fruits of your crime on Instagram, or you were like the guy who was walking down the street with the Gucci slides on his hands, and the other kid's mom drives up and like, you just robbed my kid of those Gucci slides. Then he goes back to his house and he puts that on the Instagram. I can't with these people. Let's see. Kelly, I need you to stop changing your name. I used to think PIs worked divorce cases. Many of them do. I imagine lurking in bushes and taking pictures of cheating spouses. That might be refreshing. I didn't consider the importance of digital evidence at all. Geez, I've learned a ton. Well, I'm so glad. Because that's why I'm here. to be trolled by the squeegee of justice and to try and teach you stuff. Hey, Psychosaur. I can't even say it. Hi, Rex. Macy Williams. I enjoyed your judging the jury with Tanika's 2 cents. Well, thank you. I love talking to Tanika. Hopefully we can do something again sometime. I just caught up with some of her Sarah stuff. You know, she had a baby. Hi. And you know, it's been incredibly hard for me the past couple of months. And right now it's like, okay, this one's set to go, this one's set to go, this one's set to go. So for every lawyer I have to work like it's going to trial if there's a trial date. And half the time we get close to it and then they're like, no, it's getting pushed. And then I get pushed a year. And then you're like, well, but what I've learned, one of the things I've learned this year, well, I think I'm taking it more into account, is that don't just stop in the middle of the task for the case I'm currently working on, even if the lawyer says, oh, by the way, that's now not going to be in, it was supposed to be this month, but now it'll be a year from now. Finish what I was doing, right? So it's all there and documented, because now I'm going to put it aside and I won't remember if I start back up in the middle of it. I mean, that's common sense, but I have ADHD, which I wasn't diagnosed with until I was 40, which is insane, but also makes a ton of sense about a lot of things in my life and the way in which I was dealing with it without knowing it. But being at home alone working on this kind of a job is really hard for someone with ADHD and like a severe procrastination disorder. I'm calling it a disorder. So, and like I said, you know, Alexis has helped me tremendously because she's made there is now an organization to my business and not just a hodgepodge, although the piles of things need to be dealt with. So, what trials in 2026 are going to present the most challenges? Explaining the history of the gang war in Jacksonville to the attorney for the Folio trial. Like, because that's not all coming in, but it's context. And some of it's coming in, right? And so you kind of have to like the attorney that I'm working with he has been trying to retire for a while, and these cases keep getting pushed. He's stopped taking them. So he's got this one and then one more big one next year. But we were talking the other day and I'm like, you know, I started working for you 10 years ago. And he's like, I can't believe that. And he's like, he's like, I can feel this is so much harder on me. And I said, I feel it too, more than I did, you know, when we tried a case in 2020, for example. Well, also I sit here all day long. I'm not out. I'm not taking steps. I'm not doing a lot of things that I should be doing. And so, yeah, going out into the world again and being surrounded by people and having to be conscious of, like, am I getting into an elevator with a juror? Like, I ran into a prosecutor from one of the cases that had retired and came back, and I'm like, hey, you probably don't remember me, but I'm so-and-so. And, you know, so we had a little chat about that particular case, and that was nice, you know. And then okay, so I got to think about this, right? I have to park my car. I have to remember to pay the app for the parking. And then I have to take out the iPad, the Mac, the phones, and the car key to put those through security. And by the way, I'm skipping the main security line. I'm going to the attorney's only line, but you don't have to show your bar card, especially if you look like you're meant to be there and you're kind of in a hurry and you're wearing a suit, right? So it's like attorneys only, but it's not the entrance that you have to show your bar card. So I just pretend like I'm a frazzled lawyer and I get right through with that. I'll take all the stuff out. And you get to the courtroom, you have to hope that the bailiffs have unlocked it. You have a cell phone number for the bailiff. Well, somebody does, but that bailiff might be in Southeast Asia right now. So does anybody have the cell phone number for the other bailiff? Okay, great. And then it just, and I will say this about Judge Fuson, he is not a big break taker or a long lunch taker. So you you have to hurry, and then you eat in the cafeteria. I brought my lunch. I was so proud of myself. You eat in the cafeteria at the courthouse, and then you have to be super mindful about what you're talking about because you're probably surrounded by jurors. So, it can just be very, very much a lot. Have I ever been in a not guilty by reason of insanity trial? So, no, I have had clients evaluated for competency, and Mackenzie was sent away to the state hospital for 3 months because he was deemed non-competent to stand trial. So there's a difference, right, between whether you are competent to stand trial, which means that you're mentally all there right now, and reason of insanity, which means you didn't know right from wrong at the time you did the crime. Ronnie O'Neill, I think, probably should have gone that way, but he didn't. Was there a major breakout in tech forensics this year, or was it status quo? Again, for me, it's that kinetic imaging from the queso trial in Jacksonville that blew me away. And I learned a lot about forensics watching the Murdaugh trial. That was a big one. Widespread panic. I see your name. Hello. Hello. It's nice to see you. Squeegee has a question about something else. Okay. So a major breakout in tech forensics this year, or was it status quo? Well, we don't always learn about it. Law enforcement, the government side of things, they learn about everything before we do. I do my best to know, to try to figure it out. So I was aware of something called a FARO scanner, which will scan a scene for trajectory, gives like a 3D imaging. But one popped up in Discovery for a case, Trimble, I think it's called a Trimble scanner. And I'm like, okay, well, the Trimble guy says that they came out and they did this scan. Where are my scan results then? I'd like to see that because I would like to know the trajectory, right? I don't know. I'm sure something will come up that will smack me in the face, and I will just be flabbergasted for about 30 seconds before I have to go figure out how to understand it and then present it to the lawyers, because a lot of times the lawyers just don't have the time, right? Or they're of an age where it's like, well, they could figure it out, but they don't have the time. Sometimes they're of an age where they're like, just no. And then they're like Scotty, who's half my age, who grew up with all this tech, can do it pretty fast, do it pretty good, but also has to do his own job. So, and lawyers have to learn, you have to learn how to be a specialist in whatever it is that evidence is being presented by the state to some extent. I don't know. There's so much to learn all the time. I feel like I could just be a student as long as I didn't have to do homework. Let's see. Yeah, ADHD in girls, women is severely underdiagnosed. Like, I had no idea. And then I didn't know, like, I'm still learning about it. And I didn't know that a lot of the behaviors that I do, like having 4 different things to drink, like coffee, Pepsi, water, like out at the same time, that's a very ADHD thing to do. I knew that my train of thought would go all over the place. I knew that I would start things and not finish it, that if I started a project, I could get sidetracked into another project. There are things that I knew, but there are things I am still learning, and it's just mind blowing to me. And stimulants actually put me to sleep. Many ADHD drugs are stimulants. Okay, let's see. Faro scanner, no, Faro, not like a pharaoh, but that's really funny. Psychosaurus Rex. That does not want to come out of my mouth. Alexis, reminding everybody, please like the video. I would appreciate you so much for doing that. I appreciate you guys for being here. Just 5 days before Christmas. Let's see. Meta, have you started asking individuals if they own Meta glasses and requesting their videos and meditate? Now, Mel, that's one I have not seen. So Meta, which is Facebook, you know, it's the conglomerate, they have glasses that are like everything else that see all things. Haven't gotten there yet. It's like Source Rex. I love homework. I hate it. Hated homework. Like learning a lot. Let's see. I don't know if you guys are talking about actual sock puppets or sock puppet accounts, because I do have some sock puppet accounts. I'm on Facebook, but I'm not on Facebook. Okay. All right. Well, oh, did you put up the stream for you put up the stream for the queso video? Yeah, you put that up. The eyewitness one is fun to watch too. If you want to go back and see any of my streams, I know that people don't necessarily like long form content. I'm a person that likes to put it on in the background and just listen. I'm aware of that. I'm aware that there's a lot more I could and should be doing with my channel, but I need to work, and I have to work as much as humanly possible because things are expensive, and I have health insurance through the marketplace, and it doubled for 2025, it doubled again 2026, and now it's going to go up by another $500 more dollars. There are benefits to being your own employer. I do not do well with authority. Shocking. So I prefer this than to working in a corporate environment where I get, like, you know, benefits, but it's not easy, and the rising cost of everything is unbelievable, and the JAC just does not keep up with that for anybody. What they pay the lawyers $100 an hour. It's stupid. Let me see. Sock puppet account is where you have made it's for people who do a lot of well, anybody can have one. It's kind of like catfishing, right? But you're not looking for a victim. So you create an account, you have pictures on there, you have interests, you try to let it age, you try to have interactions. So law enforcement is using sock puppet accounts to monitor things like Instagram, right? So they have built up profiles where it looks like they belong in the community that they are interacting with, but they're not like actually trying to elicit something from that person. It's just like an observation. So like if I created an account and my name was something maybe you had seen in a YouTube chat somewhere, and maybe you see me show up on Facebook and I friended you because you'd seen me show up in a YouTube chat somewhere, but maybe I'm just doing that for the purposes of gathering information. That's a sock puppet account, more or less. So like I have Instagram, but it's not like two, but one is like just for me lurking on celebrities, and then another one is, lurking on other, just like looking for people because they make you do that. And the same thing for, I can't believe my Facebook hasn't been flagged because there's no picture, no friends, and no nothing, and now they are flagging those. And you can't sign up for accounts anymore without a real phone number. You can't use voice over IP, which was the big thing for a long time. So they're making it harder. But we'll find other ways. Laura, I will call you. Alexis will put it on the calendar. So yeah, I yeah, I really appreciate all your questions, Squeegee. Oh, thank you guys for everyone who has responded, participated in this channel. I'm not even consistent anymore, and I'm not going to promise you that I will be, because I just can't right now. I want to be here. I want to keep talking to you guys. Interesting Captures, Laura has a channel. Trial TV Live has a channel. Legal Minded Friends, Karen Cole has a channel. Tanika's 2 Cents has a channel. All of these are great people. I appreciate them so much. Go and check out their content. They are my friends. I talk to them in real life. I will be working with Trial TV Live to help them in terms of, like I said, like some background stuff for trials that will stream from here. I'm not giving away any secrets for anybody. I will continue to try to bring you stuff I think is interesting or stuff that I see that's going on out there and what you're watching and what I'm seeing or the difference in. I'm always open to suggestions. I'm never probably going to do edited video, like short form where I sit and record. This suits me better. I'd love to chop up my videos so that, into more shorts and stuff, but it is what it is. And while I would very much like to be here more and interacting with all of you guys more, I got to feed the cat his green beans. He's got to eat. So I hope that the next trial I'm involved with, the next one that I'm sure is supposed to go forward is Fulio, because that's in April, but there's 2 others set before that. But Cisco wants off the bench. Judge Cisco wants off the bench, so that has to go forward. You do all come when I show up live. You do, and I love you for it. Thank you so very, very much. I'm Erin, I hear you, girl. I'm coming. I really appreciate you all so very, very much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting my crazy self. And Kat, I hope that you have very happy holidays and whatever way you choose to celebrate them. But please, please, please be safe, protect yourself, make good choices. And yeah, I'll see you soon. Take care, you guys.